What is up, everybody? So I want to take a look at a short clip from the Pat McAfee Show today with Ian Rappaport because he gives some thoughts on a potential, sort of the scenario with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and a potential trade and sort of what that can mean for a team acquiring Rodgers and the Packers as well. And this isn't some kind of breaking news. I just thought it was interesting to hear sort of Ian Rappaport's thought on the situation. So let me play this real quick and then give my thoughts.
We heard of breaking news this weekend from Adam Schefter, a peer of yours, I do believe. He says that there is
a real possibility
of Aaron Rodgers being traded this offseason. What are you hearing? Is that an accurate assessment in your eyes? And I guess it is a real possibility. Could mean a lot of things. What does it mean to you?
I mean, it's not an impossibility.
Oh, real possibility.
Whoa. Okay.
Impossibility.
So here's the thing about Rodgers being traded. Because of the way his contract is structured, a trade is possible. It's like you can do it financially. You can come up with the compensation. I think Green Bay likes what they have in Jordan Love. So, like, if they got the right package, I think they could do a deal. It would be $60 million for one season somebody would pay him. That is what he's on the books for, cash, next year. So if you trade for, let's say you're the Jets. Let's say you're the Jets and you're like, all right, we're going to go all in. We're trading for Aaron Rodgers. You're going to be trading for a quarterback you're giving up a first rounder for, I'm sure, probably more, and pay $60 million, which would be by far the highest paid quarterback.
All right, so that's it on the Aaron Rodgers situation. So as I talked about, Ian Rappaport, the stuff he came out with on Saturday where he said that there's a real possibility that the Packers could trade Rodgers and both sides sort of see it as a real possibility. And I feel like that's not, wasn't like crazy breaking news in a sense. I feel like we knew Rodgers was open to being traded. He mentioned that on the Pat McAfee Show last week. But I think when it comes to the Packers side of things, we hadn't really heard the Packers come out and say they see it as a possibility because they're not talking to the media that often. So I think that was maybe some kind of new news from Adam Schefter when it comes to the Packers side of things, that they also sort of understand that maybe Rodgers doesn't want to return to Green Bay if he does decide to come back and play. And so it really just comes down to right now, both sides discussing things as we talked about, figuring out what Rodgers wants. If Rodgers is, unhappy with maybe the way that Brian Gutekunst in the front office is handling things, maybe he says, if I'm coming back, sorry, I want to be traded if you don't bring back, lots of these veteran players. That could be part of the situation. But as Ian Rappaport said, when it comes to the contract, I've read that there is some way that the acquiring team, if there was a trade, could have him for a cap hit of like $16 million. I think they have to exercise some kind of option or something like that. I don't know if they still have to pay him $60 million in cash and it just counts as $16 million against the cap. So it's very doable when it comes to against the cap. And I think that if a team really wanted Rodgers, I honestly think the Packers could get 2 first-round picks in return. And so with this whole situation, right now, it's just uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. There's a possibility he could get traded. There's a possibility he could return. There's a possibility he could retire. And so right now it's lots of speculation, but there does seem, the window is open for potential trade, which could happen, could not happen. But if we do look at the future of Green Bay when it comes to a trade, of course, getting 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers would really help the Packers moving forward if they did trade Rodgers, building around Jordan Love to have maybe a first-round pick this year, maybe a first-round pick next year to add to this team. It will give the Packers a very solid and firm base going forward for the future. And so maybe that's when it comes to 2023, if Rodgers were to play and then retire and the Packers didn't win a Super Bowl in 2023, then maybe to be able to get some first-round picks before that happens could make more sense. But it really comes down to Rodgers. What will he decide? Will the Packers sort of come to the same agreement with him? Who knows? But I just wanted to show you that clip. Found it somewhat interesting. But that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.